We give a lot of advice, and sometimes guys will follow it and sometimes they won't. All right, guys, so today I want to do a video about something that just came across my desk. And although I'm very proud of our office in Odessa and the office manager, Anna, and the way she dealt with this situation for this client. And I want to share that with you because I think it might help you too if you ever find yourself in a situation like this. You know, we always try to talk about the positive things that happen out there because there's so many wonderful things that do happen in the world of international dating. But as I always also say, there's always going to be good, bad, and ugly as well, right? And sometimes you do have to deal with some of the ugly out there. In this case, what I'm talking about is what they call the restaurant scam, right? Now, we've been dealing with this for many, many years. This is nothing new. It's no secret. It's actually very common. I was reading quite a few months ago in a paper about it happening in France, right? Where a couple would go in for lunch, they're foreigners, and they'd walk out with a $700 bill for virtually nothing, right? But they're foreigners and they're confused and they pay it. I also saw a whole thing about it in Miami, where a club is taking advantage of people too, in that same way, for thousands of dollars actually. So this can happen anywhere. So you have to be careful when you're going to someplace you're not familiar with, especially if you're a foreigner, that you don't get overcharged. And sometimes the person you're with, whether it's a woman or a translator, could be basically in on it, right? And trying to get some kind of a kickback or a cut, right? And it's not that prevalent, but it can happen from time to time. Actually, we have a list of good restaurants to go to where we've never seen those establishments partake in that kind of practice. And then we have a list of what we call the blacklist of restaurants that we do feel partake in that kind of practice. And we ask our clients to steer away from those establishments because we just don't want them to have any issues or problems. So it came to my attention here recently that in Odessa, there was a client who had worked with us in the past, and he was back in Odessa, and he decided to avail himself of, I believe it was Tinder, and got a date from that, and went out with this woman and went to a nightclub, and after, you know, they ordered and everything, and by the time he got his bill, that bill came to $7,000. Okay, $7,000 is ridiculous, right? I mean, that is just something that, like, he's like, how could this happen? Of course, then you get the Guidos, as I call them, that come in and they make sure that you pay the bill. And he really didn't have much of a choice, so he used his credit card and he paid the bill. And he walked out and he was like in shock. He's like, oh my gosh, $7,000, which is huge, right? For one evening. He actually went to our office because he had good experiences with us in the past. And although we had nothing to do with this, he talked with Anna, our office manager there, told him what was going on, and she immediately realized that this was a scam, this was a problem. So she took him to the police station, and they did a police report. And he was able to get a copy of that police report, which he was then able to use with his credit card company in order to reverse that charge, which is wonderful. Would have he been able to do that if he didn't have access to a site like us? Probably not, because it's not so easy as a foreigner to walk into a police station and try to get something like that done. But thank goodness he did know about a foreign affair and was able to come to us, and we were able to help him. So guys, just in the future, you know, be very careful if you're going out on a first date with someone that you've never met. You know, you should be the one picking the place. And if you need a list, we can give you a list of, you know, restaurants that we feel are going to treat you honestly and fairly, right? Whether you're in, you know, Odessa or Kyiv or Kharkov, whatever city it is in Ukraine that you're going to, we'd be more than happy to help you with that. Just be careful. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like that client found himself in, give us a call. Whether or not you used our service to begin, whether or not, doesn't matter. He did not use our service in this case. But we were able to help him, and we'll be happy to help you as well, because we just don't think that's good for anyone, right? It's just kind of a ridiculous thing that's happened. And again, it happens all over the world. It's not just the Ukraine. It happens in many different countries. And it's just not restaurants. There's taxi cab scams. There's all kinds of different things that foreigners can fall victim to if they're not careful about what they're doing in their surroundings. And so that's why I think it's always good to go over with a reputable company that can help you avoid those landmines and help you avoid those kind of problems, so it doesn't put a huge damper on your stay there and on your your experience of trying to find that right someone to spend the rest of your life with, right? That special someone. So keep that in mind, guys. Just something, I saw that, and I want to give a shout out to Anna too. She went way out of her way. Again, this client was not working with us at all. He had found this date from a totally different platform, but then he came to her with this problem, and she just jumped right on it, and she did what she needed to do to help him to get his money back. And I'm really proud of her. I think that's a great thing that she did. And of course, our staff will do that for you, though, because we've been at this now for 26 years. And we give a lot of advice, and sometimes guys will follow it, and sometimes they won't. In this case, obviously, this was a client that wasn't even working with us. So I'm glad that she was able to help him in the end. All right. So keep that in mind, guys. If you have any questions about any of this, please feel free to give us a call before you go over, and we'll give you any advice that we can, because you don't want to fall prey to something stupid like that. Okay. Thanks so much.